Hi everyone! So it is a pretty okay day here in Seattle at Green Lake. It wasn't raining, so I was kind of just like, let's go record a vlog. This is gonna kind of be a little more serious one. Just about me, and I've been kind of going through like a rough time lately, and last year I've dealt with death and breakups and just, a lot of things, and I just kind of wanted to share my story with you. So I felt like today, in this dreary week of Seattle, that this would be a pretty okay time to do it. So yeah. So after I left college, I moved back in with my parents and I started gender therapy. I essentially spent 3 months trying to come out to myself. And I remember finally admitting to myself that I was transgender, that it was just a mix of emotions. I was afraid, fearful, but relieved because I finally felt like I could figure out who I was. So then I came out to my family and friends, and against my family's wishes, I came out to my little brother. So for this act, for going against the status quo and being myself, I was asked to leave. But I understand why. Transition is a transition for everyone, not just you. It's something that we all have to come to terms with. And I was ready, but my family wasn't. So I left for Seattle, driving here on a hope and a dream. I essentially didn't know anybody. I didn't have a home or a job lined up. I was sleeping in my car for a little while. So a little after I got here, I found a couch host, and he let me stay on his couch for 3 days. And on the third day, I was about to go back to living in my car when he stopped me and he said, "I'll help you find a place." That was probably the best thing that could have happened at that point. Without his help, I wouldn't have found a sublease, and I don't know what I would have done if he didn't let me stay. So of course I took the sublease, and after the down payment and the month rent, I was super broke. I didn't have anything, not even food. But I continued working hard because at least I knew I had a place for 1 month. And after some intense searching, I found 2 jobs. I was working 14 hours a week. I was exhausted, but I was living. So 2 months later, my sublease was up, and I quit one job and was hired full-time at the other. And so with all this free time I had, I started working on my music. And I started writing and recording, and it's been taking off really well. And then I met someone who I fell madly in love with, and that summer we moved in together. We took trips and explored the world and made our little life together. But as our relationship grew, our time grew thinner, and the way I felt about them wasn't the same. So I started getting depressed, and in turn I became lazy and unmotivated. And being with her made me forget why I moved to Seattle. And so for the first time since I moved here, I was disappointed in myself. While they made me incredibly happy, I couldn't stand the person I was in that relationship. So I left the relationship a few weeks ago, and I moved to a beautiful part of town, and I'm still incredibly hurt by breaking up, but I know it's for the best. Since I moved to Seattle, I've lived in 6 different spots, held 3 jobs, and continue to freelance with my music and photography. I've been happier than I've ever been. I've also been the most depressed. And now, for the first time since living here, I've let myself down, but now I'm pushing back. And now I want to speak to you because, there may be times when you feel like giving up, or circumstances that you may feel utterly helpless in. But no matter how hard it gets or how awful everything may seem, just stay true to yourself and be the person you want to be. Stay strong. You can do it. So now that you know pretty much my life story, let's go meet someone neither of us have met. I know that this person moved up here recently, and she is starting her own business and following her dream and being who she wants to be. So I'm super excited to meet her and hear what she has to say. So let's go meet this mystery woman. So we're headed to Fix Coffee House right now, and it's just on the other side of Green Lake. So let's take a look. Okay, so Danny is sitting right here, and I don't know, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Danny Gonzalez, newly moved to Seattle. So moved up here from Savannah, Georgia. I actually kind of dropped out of college to do that, to start my own business where we make carbon fiber longboards. And so this is a big longboarding city, so we came up here, and that's kind of why I'm here. So I don't really know a whole lot of people here. I've got a couple friends that I know, but for the most part, I don't really know anyone. Just kind of doing what I want, following my dreams. I have a podcast called .fem. I co-host that with my friend Hannah, who's also a trans woman, and she lives in Savannah, Georgia, which is where I just came from. In our podcast, we talk about trans issues, feminist issues, new developments in science and technology, pretty much whatever we feel like talking about.
Cool. So speaking of podcasts, there's actually a podcast show on Saturday that I was planning on going to, and I was planning on taking you along with me. So I guess this is like a little taste right now of just what's to come on Saturday. So cool. Okay, thanks for joining me and meeting Danny for the first time. I like meeting people. As you saw the last vlog, you saw that I met Lauren. And she was outstanding as well. I mean, all these trans people are fantastic. I'm just like, I love Seattle. So that is Danny. Yeah, it's almost scary how strikingly similar we are in so many ways. It's kind of cool, and I'm really excited to hang out with her more. Yeah, so we're gonna go together on Saturday to the Gender Sensei project. They're doing a podcast with Danny Askini. She is a absolutely amazing, wonderful, and just genuine trans woman who's running for, I think, Senate. I can't remember. But she'd be the first one in Washington to run, or the first trans woman in Washington to run. So Steven and I are gonna go to a drag show tonight, and we're getting all fancy. So I'm gonna go home and end the vlog. Alright, hi everybody! So we're going to Baja Bistro down in Beacon Hill tonight. We're going to a super cool drag show. I was invited by, I can't remember his name. Oh, no! Thank you all so much for watching the vlog. I really do like it when you like, comment, subscribe, and share. I do have a newsletter here that you can sign, and I'm gonna put all the doobly-doo links that I was talking about in the vlog below in the description.
Right there?
Yeah, right down there.
I love the fancy place for it.
Anyway, everybody, thank you all so much. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, here's the drag show. I'll see you all next time. Bye.